In this session, we are going to talk about the tree map. A tree map is an advanced data visualization technique that displays the hierarchical data in a nested and rectangular format. It's ideal for visualizing the hierarchical structures or data breakdowns, where each rectangle represents a category or node, and the size and color of each rectangle conveys some meaningful information. In a tree map, the largest rectangle represents the top level category or the whole data set. Subcategories are represented as a smaller rectangle within the larger ones. The size of each rectangle can represent a measure, and the color can also be used to encode the additional data. This hierarchical representation makes it easier to see how categories are related and how they contribute to the overall data set. During our practical demonstration in Tableau, we will explore how to create the tree maps to visualize the hierarchical data effectively. You will also learn how to structure your data hierarchically, assign the dimensions and measures to create these meaningful rectangles. Then we will see how to customize the labels and colors to enhance the clarity, and also use the tooltips to provide some additional information. Whether you are visualizing the organizational structures, market segments, or any data set with hierarchical relationships, Trees Map can offer a unique and insightful way to explore and communicate your data. So let's go to the Tableau screen and see how can we create these tree maps. Now we are in our Tableau screen and we are working with this global superstore dataset. To create a tree map, we can go in the show me option, and here we have this option to create a tree map. The minimum requirement for it is one or more dimensions and one or two measures. So we will be using one dimension and one measure to create a tree map. So for the dimension, I'll choose this subcategory. I will double click on subcategory, and for the measure, I will choose this sales. So I will double click on this sales and it would give me a text table. Now to convert this text table into the tree map, I will go in the show me option, and here I'll choose the tree map option. Now the overall value of the sales would be this whole rectangle, and whatever the values are inside it, let's say the phones, bookcase and copiers, what is the share of them in the overall sales would be reflected by the size of this rectangle. So the smaller the size of the rectangle, the least would be the share of that particular value of sales. So right now I can see the phones hold the maximum value of the share in the sales, and the least value is holded by labels and fasteners. If you want to see the labels also, what you can do is you can drag this sales into the labels. If you want to quickly identify the lowest and highest sales, you can see the colors over here. The darker would be the color of the rectangle, the higher is the sales value. The lighter shade of the color, the lowest would be the sales value. If you want to change the color scheme, you can go in the colors. Here you can go in the edit colors option, and instead of the automatic, you can choose any two diverging colors. For example, I'll choose this red green diverging option over here. You can also give an option to use the stepped color option. If you don't want to use the stepped color, you can just click on apply and no. Now you can see these red options denote that this is the lowest value of sales, and the green option denote that this is the highest value of sales. Since not everything is in negative, everything is in positive right now, so it would be good to use some same color palette instead of this different diverging palette. This can be used when you are working with some negative values, or there are some very less values in the overall sales, then you can use this color palette account. Now the other option can be to divide this whole into some different parts. So right now I know that these value of subcategories are present inside the categories value. So instead of this color showing the sales, what I can do is I can drag this category the colors. Now you can see that whatever category is there is now divided into different colors. For example, furniture is shown by blue color, office supply is shown by this yellow color, and this shade of pink is showing me technology. I can click on them also, and it would reflect the values over here in my visualization. The other thing to note over here is whenever we have divided it according to the categories, you can see this line over here. So this thick white line, or I can say this thick white space, is dividing these different categories. I will just press Ctrl Z so I can bring it back to the previous value. If you don't want to change it according to the colors, the categories, what you can do is you can drag these categories into this details, and you can again see there is this thick white blank space over here. Now every data has been divided into different parts. This part defines technology, this part defines office supplies, and the lower part defines furniture. And I can see it as this thick bold line is over there. So now I can see there are these different categories in different parts of my visualization. So this is one of the way in which you can create the tree map. The next one is using the tree map to show some different measures. For example, I will again choose this subcategory. I can choose the value of sales, and I can make it a tree map by going in the show me menu and using this tree map option. Now let's say I want to see the sales value, the labels, but I want the colors to reflect different values of profit it is bearing. So for that, what I can do is I can drag this profit options in the colors option. Now you can see whatever values of subcategories are over there, the broader the size of the rectangle, it it would be showing me the value of the sales, and if it is the least value in terms of profit, it would be showing me with the help of this color. So this is the other way in which you can make a tree map if you want to show two measures at once. So first measure would be giving you the size of this rectangle, and the second measure would be giving you the color coordinate of this rectangle. Now you can also change the color coordinates. For that, you can go in the colors, you can edit colors, and here instead of the automatic, you can choose this red, green, diverging, or any color according to your need. You can also choose the option of the step colors, click on apply, and so the lighter the shade of the color, the lighter the shade of the profit would be over here. The darker the shade of the color, the darker would be the value of. If you want to see both the values at once, again you can drag this profit as well in the labels, and it would show you the profit as well as the sales. So these were the two ways in which you can create a tree map. The first way was to show just a single measure and then dividing it into the different categories. And the second way in which you can show two measures, the one would be showing the size, the second one would be showing the colors. And again, if you want to divide it into various categories, you can divide this and you can drag this categories in the details, and then it would divide it into the different segments. So this was all for tree maps. In the next segment, we will be looking at the different options present in the show me map. Thank you.